Star 365, and you're now tuned in. Yeah. You're the Zali Hoodstar 365, and you're now tuned to Respect the Game Podcast, episode 188. Hey, yo, this is Hoodstar 365 Mixtape Series.
No lie.
Hey, yo, this is Hoodstar 365 Mixtape Series.
Look, I just woke up feeling wonderful. Yeah. Life good, I'm living comfortable. Only when you up is when niggas gon' fuck with you. When you rock bottom, where's the love for you? Where's the love? Did this shit on my own, so on my own I do what I wanna do. Count it up to my thumbs are blue. I just woke up feeling wonderful. Yeah, life good, I'm living comfortable. Only when you up is when niggas gon' fuck with you. When you rock bottom, where's the love for you? Did this shit on my own, so on my own I do what I wanna do. Count it up to my thumbs are blue. Now they saying I'm selfish. If your tax bracket ain't higher than mine, then how could you help me? Your 5 immediate friends is who you becoming. I'm trying to be wealthy. With the table to the table, nigga, now I'm eating healthy. Fuck what you tell me, fuck what you tell me. Went to sleeping in the hallway, the square footage in the foyer. Shout out my supporters, who really fuck with me the long way. They say I'm the GOAT, I'm just something like the real king of New York, put that on the bike. 4 rings on a 4 ring. Never sitting idle. I just woke up feeling wonderful. Life good, I'm living comfortable. Only when you up is when niggas gon' fuck with you. When you rock bottom, where's the love for you? Like where's the love? Did this shit on my own, so on my own I do what I wanna do. Count it up to my thumbs are blue. I just woke up feeling wonderful. Yeah, life good, I'm living comfortable. Only when you up is when niggas gon' fuck with you. When you rock bottom, where's the love for you? Where's the love? Did this shit on my own, so on my own I do what I wanna do. Count it up to my thumbs are blue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is Ali Hoodstar 365, and this is Respect the Game, the podcast, episode 188. And in today's podcast, we're going to talk about hip-hop in its retrospect 30 years later, and where it stands, the culture, its influence, positive and negative, and where we stand at today at 2022. Now, I lived during those times, so I've seen it, I've heard it, in the whole 30 years. And our culture is not the way it is because it wasn't planned for it to be the way it is. See, I'm going to run down the top 10 albums in 1985 in hip-hop, okay? At number 1 was LL Cool J. And number 2 was Maintronics. Shut Alive, Shut Alive. We're going through hip-hop history here. This is 1985 top 10 albums of hip-hop. At number 3 was Run DMC with King of Rock. I'm the king of rock. There's none higher. Sucker MCs, they call me sire. At number 4, they went out to the Bay, Oakland, California, to Too Short. At number 5, it was Too Short again. He had 2 albums that year, and this was called Don't Stop Rapping. And at number 6 was the Fat Boys. The Fat Boys are back. At number 7 was the World Class Wrecking Crew. They were dope, bro. The World Class Wrecking Crew, 1985. And number 8 was Nucleus, where Space is the Palace. No, Space is the Place. And number 9 was West Coast Crew. And then coming in at 10 was UTFO. And then after them came Public Enemy, KRS-One, Brand Nubian, De La Soul, you know, all conscious rappers. That was in the forefront. You know, they used to wear the big African beads with the medallion, the wooden medallions, the red, black, and green, Black Power, you know, Boricuas. Everybody was intertwined because hip-hop started in the Bronx. It was Puerto Ricans and African Americans. So now fast forwarding it to 30 years from now, because when my childhood, listening to hip-hop, it was about having fun. It was about dressing up nice, play sports, get girls, get money. That was it. And then everybody had their lane. Nobody did all of them all at once. Nobody was the pretty boy. Nobody was the money getter. Nobody was the athlete. You know, nobody played all the roles like today. In today's hip hop, they want to do everything. So it's like in life. If you burn the candle on both ends, it's going to come to a head. It's going to meet. Right? So in 1987, in 1986, 87, that's when the powers to be, the record labels, and the judicial system, am I saying it right? Jurisdictions, whatever, however you say it, the court system, the way it's set up, the prisons and all that, right? Then they had the meeting, and they said, yo, listen, we're going to select a few artists, and then these artists right here, they're going to have to conform to what our plan is. And then if you conform to what the plan is, then you're going to be paid for the rest of your life. Per se, the Illuminati, right? The Masons. So what's the reason that they created that and why they did that? Why did they direct the music? It was in 1985, it was like at its finest. Everyone was awake, everyone was conscious, everybody was getting money, getting girls, looking fly, you know. When you went outside to hang out with your boys or with your girlfriends, it wasn't no shootings, it was none of that. Anybody was involved in that because that's the lane that they were in. They were into gangs and all that. But even then, because gangs back then wasn't like that, like it is today. You know, we used to just hang out. Like when I was a kid, I had 15 friends and we hung out every day. We got stopped a few times by the police and the police asked us were we a gang. I said, no, we're just friends and we play basketball together, we play baseball together, we ride bikes together, we go swimming to the Rotunda Pool in Newark, New Jersey, go to Branchwood Park, play baseball. We used to play baseball right in the schoolyard. Stickball, wall ball, it was called. So when the hip hop went conscious and positive, then the system wasn't making no money. Nobody was going to jail. Nobody was going to prison. Nobody was going to the grave early, teenagers and all that. Nobody was dying young. People were living long lives. So that's why they came up with the concept and they said, yo, listen, we got to direct these kids to go another route, to fill up our prisons, to fill up our courtrooms, to hire our attorneys, to go to the emergency rooms, get the hospitals and the doctors, get their salaries, get the COs paid, the police department paid, the lawyers, everybody's getting paid. And then the artists who they brought to the meeting in California, that's the meeting they had with them. They said, listen, we don't want to hear that no conscious shit. We want to hear about what's going on in your neighborhood. And we need that gangster music. And then boom, NWA came out. Fuck the police, gangster this and gangster that. Shoot them up, kill. And everybody's like, oh shit, even me, dang, that's hot. Because before them was Public Enemy. Public Enemy was, you know, waking you up, telling you to open your third eye. Public Enemy. Power to the people, fight the power. 911's a joke. all those records. So 30 years later, they constructed a plan and they executed the plan. They did it with the music and the megahertz in the music that programs the minds of the young. It programs the minds of everyone, really. And you're listening to that all day long, and it's telling you to go outside and shoot, and go outside and spin the block, and go outside and scam, and go outside and kill, and go outside and hurt people. And then they got all the women now in this culture. Just look at social media. I was on my Explore page today, and no lie, in 2013, 2014 when I first created my first IG. And the Explore page on the IG was people who were striving to, to make it. Entrepreneurs, artists, painters, cars and all that. Now you go to your Explore page. If you go on Instagram, go to your Explore page. And you'll see all the people that's on the Explore page is all women. All black women and all Latinas. And they're all have their backs turned to the phone and they're all shaking their asses and showing their bodies and exposing their bodies. And you go to TikTok and you'll see somebody make a post. She just standing there. I just seen one other day. She was just sitting there eating chips. And it had 500,000 views. Then got another one, same with big old hips, plastic everything, showing her body. She's got 2 million followers on TikTok. So this is the agenda that is being pushed to our culture. So 30 years later, here it is. This is what they created. This society created this. What this does is it continues to build wealth, generational wealth for them. And when I say them, I mean them, not us. And when I say us, I mean urban America. Urban America is still run down. Still homeless people. People robbing and stealing and killing and disrespecting the elderly. When I was a kid, we were taught to respect your elders and respect the elderly. Help them cross the street. Help them carry their bags. They don't have a car, you drive them to the store, help them shop. Now they punching, I seen on TikTok, they knocking elderly people out and taking their cars and snatching their purses out their hand, knocking them down. So yesterday at a news conference in Philadelphia, the mayor or the governor, whoever he was, he got on there talking to the big bad wolf about he's gonna lock all the kids up, the OUF gang and the UAD, whatever. He was naming all of the gangs. That he said that you guys are all going to jail. Of course. You mean to tell me there's nothing else that can be created to prevent from having mass incarceration once again? There's already over 2 million people incarcerated in the United States. More than any country in the world. You don't believe me? Google it. And 87% of the people incarcerated in the United States are people of color, black and Latinos. Because it's been programmed that way. It's been programmed. Why? And people say, why? Because that's how they earn income off of us. Forever. My dad, I went, my son went, his son will go, my son will go, my grandson will go. Like, that's the destiny. That's what they're pushing. That's what you see in the forefront. And now we got the young ladies outside doing it too, acting real masculine and acting like men, and they going around shooting people too. They going around setting people up, carjacking, home invasions. They doing everything too. And then for the female artists who's trying to get in the rap game, they all saying, oh, But we got to expose our bodies to get seen, and we got to talk real reckless and nasty and disrespectful with no morals and no concept of self-respect. They talk about their private parts. They talk real vulgar. It's just like real disrespectful. But that's what the program, that's what they want. So they put that to the forefront. That goes on the Explorer page. That goes on the FYP page. They got millions and millions of followers. The most disrespectful, ignorant people got the most followers on social media. I already did a case study. When I post positive stuff, I get 0 views. When I post something, when I go outside and I see something and I record it and I post it, then that one goes viral. 80,000. I had one go 97,000 views. Another one went 80,000 views. Another one did 30,000. Another one did 56,000. And then all the artists today are all the artists on TikTok and on social media. What they rapping about? What they singing about? They got all that talent. They know how to ride a beat. They know how to write. They know how to do. They know how to create hooks. They know how to create melodies. They know how to create a bridge. They know how to do an intro. They know how to do an outro, song concept. But the lyrics are all the same. They're all talking about shooting and killing each other, doing drugs and shooting and killing each other. And then TikTok lets prisoners, inmates, on their platform. But then they say it'll be a community guideline and take your video down for something like petty as hell. But you got guys sitting in prison, millions of followers. I seen a post last week. The guy sitting there counting all his money in prison. He had a Rolex, he had rings, chain, a 60-inch TV in his cell. Like, what the hell is going on? How is that possibly reforming that young man? It's not. They don't want it to reform him. You know why? Because of him leaving on parole or getting out completing his sentence and him coming back to prison is like 80-something%. Guaranteed. And I remember when I went to prison for selling drugs. And I did 10 years. When I was leaving, the last thing that CEO said to me was, "I'll see you when you come back. You be back." And I said, "Yeah, right." And I never did. I never went back. Because I had a plan. And when you're coming out, if you don't have a plan and then you don't execute the plan, then of course, how you going to eat? If you're in urban America and you ain't getting no money and the rent is due and your kids got to eat and your baby mama's taking you to child support and everybody's pressuring you and telling you ain't shit and you ain't never going to be shit, then you're going to go do what you know how to do. Whether it's hustling, robbing, scamming, carjacking, whatever it is, how you can get money, that's what you're going to resort to. So here it is, all these years later. Now they want to start locking up all the youth. They want to start locking up everybody now. They just made a press conference yesterday. It's going to make them even more wealthier. Instead of creating some type of program or, all right, go to the music labels and say, all right, listen, enough's enough. All the artists, you guys can make songs and them beats sounding good. All right, let's start making feel-good music. Start making music that inspires the youth. Start making music to teach the youth. You can put it in songs. How to start their own label. How to start their own clothing line. How to get an LLC. You know, how to get EIN numbers. How to restore your credit. How to improve your credit. How to communicate with another human being. How to respect the elderly. How to respect adults. How to respect each other. How to respect yourself. And now a lot of the artists are getting backlash. now, finally. And now they're saying, well, we was just, I ain't living that lifestyle. I'm just talking about the stuff what I see and what I did. Yeah, but you're misguiding and misleading and telling the kids and glorifying it and telling them that's it, and that's not it. Getting shot and getting killed at a young age is not it, man. I don't know how else you want to phrase it. It ain't gangster. It ain't macho. It ain't wapo. It ain't tough. It ain't none of that. You only get one life. Or you end up in a wheelchair. Or you end up with a tube in your neck. And you got to talk. Or you end up with a colostomy bag. You can't even go to the bathroom. Just sit down and get your thoughts together. And you got to poop right in that bag. And that bag starts to stink. And you got to change the bag. Or you get in a wheelchair. Or you get sent to prison for 10 years, 20 years. Now they're giving out 30, 40, 100 years. So this is why every time I meet the youth, or, you know, young people in general, I tell them. But I said, I introduce myself. Hey, this is what I do. I'm such and such, and this is what I do. Follow me, check it out. Go listen to the message, check out the podcast. Respect the Game, the podcast, now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel at Hood World. Click the link in my bios and check out the websites. One is hoodstar365tvradio.com. If you're an artist, submit your music, get your song on the radio. Submit your music video. You know, all positivity. We can't lose everybody. If we lose everybody, there'll be nobody left. Innocent people are being killed every day all over the United States in urban America, in the hood. You can't say you don't have the information because you got your phone in your hand every day. If you're not seeking information and knowledge with your phone, then you're being ignorant to yourself and you're robbing yourself. You carjacking yourself. You gang banging yourself. You're playing yourself out. You're playing yourself short. And you're living short lives. Life is beautiful. Listen to music for entertainment. When I listen to music, right, I really don't hear the words. I really don't, I hear the beat and the melody of the artist. I'm like, you know what I mean? I don't know how people let that control their minds. That they really go outside, whatever the artist says, they go outside and they do it. And here it is, 2022, and majority, all the population in the United States is idol worshipers. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, idol worshiping is you're worshiping the athletes, and the athletes are being paid $200, $300, $400 million to play sports. You're worshiping artists who are being paid hundreds of millions of dollars to convey that message, to kill each other, to go to prison, to gangbang, to do drugs. All negativity. And then everybody puts them on a pedestal. But you know how many lives they have ruined sending that message? We talk about millions and millions of people all across the globe because now the music on the internet. So everybody, that child over there in Ukraine, he hears them songs. In Palestine, he hears those songs. In Africa, and now they're all mimicking it. Now they're all doing it. And they're all rapping and singing about the same thing. So it's time for the artists to step up and say, yo, listen, I'm not, like Eminem did it a few years back, and they blackballed him. And Eminem said, yo, I'm not making no more records talking about that. I'm making music about being, you know, fun and exhibiting my skills at bars and metaphors. I don't want to make songs about that anymore. Nah, that ain't it. right? So we looked at the top 10 albums from 1985, right? So now, let's look at the top 10 albums for 2022. And the message and the agenda and the energy they're putting out. It's crazy. Let's see. Let's check it out. Okay, at number 1, top artist in the world is Drake. Well, Drake is positive because all he talks about is he makes music for women. He don't be talking about that gang stuff. So I don't understand why the rest of the industry don't do what he's doing because he has the blueprint and he's the number 1 rapper in the world and he's the most wealthiest. At number 2, Kanye West. Another artist who's subconscious, a mega entrepreneur. He's number 2. Then at number 3, here it comes. At number 3 is Lil Nas X. And that's the agenda that they start pushing on the kids. Demonic behavior. Disrespectful. Then number 4, for the ladies. And number 4 is Megan Thee Stallion. She's raunchy as hell, and she talks about her ass every song, and twerking every video, and showing her ass, even when she performs. Got all the young girls now going to get BBLs, because everybody want to have a big ass. And number 5, the baby. Well, he does gangster music, but he wasn't too gangster when he just got interrogated at the police station. So that shows you that this is smoke and mirrors and it's nothing but entertainment. He's talking all that gangster shit and he was in there telling.